Speaking of fantasy,
I'm on a dog.
the Ravens making the Super Bowl this year is become a fantasy.
And I called it.
A distant fantasy.
What did I call it? And I called it.
You did call it.
I called it. I said
called it.
The Ravens are not going to be able to stop Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And look exactly what the guy had 190-some yards, 195 rushing yards.
Yeah, 30
Tell
attempts.
me a running back in history who's had 183 yards in one game, in the wild card game, and then 95 yards. And then the following game, this is all
the postseason record.
This is all just rushing. This isn't considered a catching and total overall yard.
Right.
And at the same time, Tannehill, their quarterback, has threw for less than 100 yards in each game.
Yeah. He threw 2 touchdowns yesterday, but
14 attempts. The backup has 14 attempts.
Here's the thing. He made one big play early in the game, and I think that's Mike Vrabel's game plan. It's like, we're not going to... If Tannehill can't make a big play or get me like a passing touchdown in the first quarter, then I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna let him throw it after that. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the thing with Tannehill. Right now, the way the Titans' offense is they're not relying on Tannehill. It's all on Derrick Henry.
No.
So if they can get that one great play from Tannehill,
right,
that's all they ask for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let him throw that one touchdown. Let him throw or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all they ask for. Right now, it's all just, and they're making his life a lot easier. And let's give credit to that offensive line.
Yeah, we should.
You know what I mean? A lot of it is not just from Derrick Henry. It's that offensive line helping him out.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, think of it as you're an opposing defensive coordinator. I mean, you're constantly running the ball. You're opening up the passing lane for the other team.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not just helping Derrick Henry. You're helping Tannehill by having Derrick Henry. And that becomes the competition.
Well, you're also keeping the Ravens off the field.
That is true, too.
And the Ravens are a rhythm team.
And what's the best thing to understand for Kansas City for next week?
Yeah.
Keeping Patrick Mahomes and not high-power offense off the field.
I think what Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs taught you is that, you know, you can be down big and they still have an opportunity.
They were down, they were down,
but then they come
24-0?
back. They come back. Well, the Chiefs are different to me than the Ravens. I think the Chiefs have the ability to come back from deficits. The Ravens all season have proven that they're a team that are great when they have a lead.
Yeah.
But they haven't shown me too many times that they can come back from a deficit. That's been their issue. That was even their issue last year in the playoffs against the Chargers.
Yeah.
The same thing happened.
And not just that. I mean, I just look at it in Lamar Jackson. He's just too young, and the pressure I feel like was just too much for him.
So I was going to ask you this question.
Okay.
Because, you know, you've been a... I'm not going to say hater because you're not a hater on Lamar, but like not the biggest believer in that style of quarterback play.
100%.
That style.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'll say. I'm not going to throw all the hate. I think that's a great way to put it. So this is the second straight year he has a terrible playoff game. Okay, and this is the second straight year that the playoff game wound up not only being terrible but being his worst game of the season. So a lot of people are throwing dirt on Lamar and basically eradicating and erasing the 14-2 record he had this year and all the great, amazing things he did.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
Are
you one of those guys?
No, I'm not erasing it from him, but this is the thing, though, is when you look at it, when you're in the playoffs, every team is great.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's because they know how to study their opponent. They know how to look at their opponent. Mind you, you may get like a Cowboys, like make it in there, or an Eagles, like it in there. Yeah. But no, just in general... When you have one dimension, when you're a running quarterback, right, or whatever it is, teams are going to know how to play against you.
Yeah.
What makes a great quarterback is a quarterback that knows how to alter his game enough to where he still feels comfortable, and the opposing defenses have a hard time understanding him.
Right.
Lamar is just too one-dimensional for me, in the sense of like, if his style doesn't work, then he's done. You know what I mean? He threw for 365 yards.
And ran for another 143.
143, great. But
so
he has those 2 interceptions.
Yards. Yeah.
Those 2 interceptions, two turnovers, those are big.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to playoffs. I mean, you look at the best example, look what happened in Houston.
Yeah.
Almost basically 3 turnovers and 3 drives, and they were right back in the game, and look what ended up happening.
With the Chiefs, yeah.
With the Chiefs, you know what I mean? That's my issue. I mean, again, I always say he's too young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Second year, man.
Second year. I mean,
He's
but he threw
365
yards. That's great.
I mean,
you know? But at the same time, they made him throw it 59 times.
I'll be objective, too. A lot of that was empty stats. Like, they were down big early, and he was forced to put up a lot of numbers. But, so, yeah, a lot of that wasn't there until they were already down, and he was playing catch-up, so he was forced to do all these things. But what I'll say is, when I look at this game, the Ravens, it's a combination of two different things. I'm not even blaming Lamar that much for this game because
I never blame one person for a game.
Yeah, but when I watched this game, what do you call it? The Ravens had the ball inside the Tennessee 40 9 different times during this game. He had like 3 or 4 different drives of 10 or more plays. So this isn't a situation like what I saw last year against Chargers. They were having long drives. They were having success. They just couldn't finish drives. That's a telling sign to me moving forward, because if you just can't get yardage or you can't sustain drives, that's more concerning to me. I'd be more concerned about Lamar moving forward. But the fact that obviously the Titans are hot, Derrick Henry's hot, Mike Vrabel is hot, which is coaching game planning and his coaching decisions in games. He's been hot. He out-Belichick in the last game against the Patriots, and then he out-coached John Harbaugh, I believe, yesterday as well. So I think it's a combination of those things. And also Mark Ingram.
Coaching, or is it just...
Mark Ingram, too. Mark Ingram is somebody I got to know. And I'm gonna relate Lamar and Ingram to Michael Vick for a second. Because Mark Ingram was banged up. He only had like 22 yards. He's been their workhorse all season. He had like over 1,000 yards this season. And I think that, this team was the best or one of the best rushing teams in the league because of the combination of Ingram and Lamar. And the thing I'll go back to is with Vick is, remember, it wasn't only Vick. It was Warwick Dunn. Remember Warwick Dunn for the Falcons? When they were in Atlanta, and they had the best rushing attack in the league. It was the combination of those guys, and that's what gave them so much success. So I think that's another reason why the game plan kind of folded, because you're talking about your starting right. I mean, you're talking about what I said last week was the game plan: control time, possession, run the ball. That's what the Ravens do. So the fact that
they ran for 140. Yeah. I mean, Lamar alone.
And then another one of those picks came off the wide receiver's hands and went into the defender. So
that's what I'm saying. It's not in the but at the same time, it's these turnovers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But one of them wasn't on him. Now, and then the fumbles, he had he had one again yesterday, and he hadn't had one lost fumble all season long. So a lot of these things were uncharacteristic for him.
It's just pressure, got to him.
Well, I don't think it was pressure. I think it was just, it's like I said, they were sustaining drives. They were getting within field goal range 9 times. Okay, so it wasn't like he wasn't able to get across the 30, his own 30. That's what I mean. If he wasn't able to do that, and they were just getting 3 and out, I would lean more towards what you were saying about this style of play and it being sustainable. But
my thing is this: I'm like, that style of play can get you into the playoffs. Yeah, but that style of play can't get you through the playoffs.
It has yet to be seen. So
I mean, the closest person to have it gone all the way and done it was Russell Wilson. Well, everybody, you very well know
the
Russell,
style of play wasn't really.
Well, Russell is
different.
But Russell's a pass-first quarterback. He's not a run-first quarterback.
They don't run this system with Russell Wilson.
But I'm just saying, in the sense of the idea of.
Well, he's a pass-first guy, like you said.
He's honestly, I think he's pass first by force.
He runs by force. I feel like he doesn't want to run.
No,
Russell.
I think it's the opposite. I think he wants to run, but I think he passes by force.
I think he mainly just runs in the pocket.
143 yards is not running by force.
Wait, are you I thought you were talking about Russell Wilson.
No, I'm talking about Lamar.
I thought you were talking about Russell Wilson. Oh, yeah. Lamar, definitely.
Well, that's what I'm saying. A guy like that will not last. He won't last. There's only a couple players in NFL history that have last.
Chris,
like that.
He had 3,000 yards. His completion percentage was 66%. 36 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions. A quarterback rating of 113 on the entire season. And they went 14-2. I'm sorry, Chris, but
all right, like
his passing is already better than Vick's. This isn't like Michael Vick.
Okay,
this
great.
is Michael Vick 2.0.
What I'm saying is this idea of a running quarterback first it can get you to the playoffs, but it will not get you through the playoffs.
Cam Newton got through the playoffs.
Cam Newton wasn't a run-first quarterback.
He was not a run-first quarterback?
Not at that time. Ron Rivera changed him to a passing quarterback first.
Go look up his stats from the season that they made the playoffs. He was throwing his completion percentage was really high, but he only threw 3,000 yards. Okay, and he had
look, he just threw 3,100 yards.
I get that, but that's my point. Okay, Cam Newton only threw 25 touchdowns that season. He ran for another 10. So Lamar already just run for a lot. He already broke the record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a single season. But I go back to Cam Newton because you mentioned Russell Wilson. Cam Newton, basically, they had kind of a similar style where it was kind of like the defense gave him short fields. They ran the ball. It wasn't really Cam Newton that took him to the Super Bowl. He won MVP because he was the face of the team. I gave more credit to that defense, and we did too. And both of us picked the Broncos to beat him in that Super Bowl, so we kind of knew. But we can't argue the fact that Cam Newton did take him all the way to the Super Bowl, and he did win the MVP that same season. So he did get him to the Super Bowl.
All right, I understand that, but what I'm saying,
they look good.
Is you didn't see Cam Newton running for 143 yards in a single game.
Yeah, well, he's not as electric as Lamar.
What I'm saying, no, because Cam Newton, if he kept playing the way he was playing before Ron Rivera got there, Cam Newton wouldn't be in the league. Ron Rivera changed him. He's the reason why he extended his career, because he made him into a passing quarterback, a pocket quarterback.
Right. I mean, Lamar is developing into one, man. I think he's got.
I hope he
way
does.
Better.
I mean, he has a lot of talent. I'm not saying he doesn't.
He had 36 passing touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
Okay, all right, I understand.
That's better than most pocket quarterbacks.
Well, he is. I'm not saying he isn't, but what I'm saying is that if he's going to constantly rely on his legs, it's going to catch up to him.
I don't think he's...
You can't tell me he's not relying on his legs when he has 143 rushing yards in one game.
But he had by far more passing yards. He threw 59 times.
Let me show you one thing.
He had 20 attempts.
He had 59 times. He had 20 attempts running the ball.
Okay, but because Mark Ingram was hurt.
20 attempts running the ball.
Well, his starting running back was out. And that was their tandem.
Still. 20 attempts for a quarterback to run the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
running backs barely get 20 attempts.
He's the greatest runner ever at the quarterback position. I've never seen, honestly, Chris, it just comes down to me. I've never seen a guy this electric, this good at playing quarterback this season. Last season, I'll give you this. The thing that bugged me last season, it didn't bug me, but it was obvious. John Harbaugh gave him, I think Greg Roman is still offense coordinator. They gave him 3 plays, okay? They gave him like 3 plays to work with all season. Okay, like this is where we're working. We're not opening up the playbook. You're young, you're still raw. We're not going to do that. That's what I saw against the Chargers. They did not open the playbook at all when he played the Chargers last year's first playoff game. Then second half, they're down big. He does exactly what he did in this game. They opened up the playbook for him, and then he started throwing darts and getting touchdowns and picking up stats, and they almost came back against the Chargers. This game is different because the playbook was open from the beginning, and I think that Baltimore defense, which has been one of the best all season, dropped the ball. I think that's what it was as well, because you're down 14-0, okay, early. And it was a hole you couldn't dig out of. And again, like I mentioned, what do we say about a defense? Your offense sometimes can be a good defense, especially if you're able to stay on the field. Because the longer the offense is on the field, the less tired your defense is. Okay, so that's exactly what Lamar is doing. So that's why I put more onus on the defense. Because the Ravens were sustaining drives. They just weren't able to finish. So that's why I'm looking going into next season. I think he'll be fine. And I liked how he handled the post-game press conference. He came out and said, yo, it's on me. We're getting better. I'm focused on next year. They beat us straight up. This isn't a guy who runs away from the moment. That's what I like, too. That's the character thing. That was another thing I looked at. There was a meme put on Shannon Sharp, his Instagram page. A lot of people were giving Lamar a lot of flack, man. You know, they were giving him a lot of crap. And there was a meme of like him and they replaced Shannon's face with it. And I'm just seeing like, you know, a lot of players get sensitive to that stuff. But then I saw Lamar commenting and he's laughing. And he's like, WTF. Like he's commented like I don't think this stuff phases him.
No, it doesn't. No. And I'm not judging his character at all.
Yeah.
I'm not judging his character at all. I mean, I know he has a really good character. I'm not saying anything about that.
I mean, this is the same guy who came out and said that Deshaun Watson said that Lamar Jackson's the GOAT. Lamar Jackson then replied to him saying, no, I think Deshaun's the GOAT. This is the same thing he said about Baker Mayfield. He did the same thing with him. He called Baker the GOAT. All right, and I'm just talking about like what I've heard and what I've seen from him all season. He's like just piece of humble pie. Like he doesn't come out and trash talk. Yeah, he'll wear the shades on the sideline. I mean, dude, if he had that, remember that run against the Bengals where he did the 360 and literally on field? That's when he put the shades on. Dude, if I had a run like that, I'd be putting shades on too. And the whole team just gravitated to him. This whole big trust thing, this is a big thing and it's a big deal. And the coaching staff started gravitating to John Harbaugh. This team was one of the best teams on 4th and 1s. John Harbaugh believed in Lamar so much and his character that I don't know how many 4th and 1s they went for all season long. I've never seen a team go for it on 4th and 1 more than I saw the Ravens go for it this entire season. So when you look at it from that perspective and everything I just mentioned, I think he's gonna be fine, man. And I think he's gonna.
It's just for me, the idea of a run first quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just for me.
I feel you.
I hope he proves me wrong.
Now, here's the thing. Remember when I always give you flack and say, "Oh, I was right about Lamar." The one thing I remember I didn't say was when you asked me the question of, before the draft happened, what you think Lamar is. When you asked me the question, you think like Lamar is going to win Super Bowl? I never said yes, because I didn't think I didn't know if he would win one, but I thought he would just be a better version of Michael Vick, like throwing the ball.
Okay.
So I still don't, like, from day one. I never went into Lamar thinking that this is going to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But I thought he'd be, at the end of the day, I said he'd be a top 5 all-time great because of that, his unique ability. And the fact that he has a mentor, Michael Vick, telling him early, yo, don't just be a running first quarterback. Learn how to pass like I learned how to pass in Philly. So the fact that he's been in his ear.
Exactly what I just
Vick
said.
has been in his ear and he's been helping.
Learn how to pass.
And he has. He did this year. Compared to what he was doing last year, this season was amazing.
What I need to see next year, right? What I need to see next year is him becoming more of a passer than a runner. If he wants to run that much, just become a running back.
Now, here's the problem. Lamar is going to be stressed. You know why? Because think about this. Imagine you're Lamar Jackson right now. Right?
People know who he is.
No, it's not even
that. But they
that.
know his capabilities.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that. But I'm thinking about this year. You went 14-2. You had the number 1 seed.
Oh, you got to do it again.
Nobody's going to give him any credit if he goes 15-1, 16-0 next season. Has the best regular season of any player in NFL history until he wins his first playoff game. So he not only has to win he doesn't have to wait until September to prove everyone wrong, get back on the field and kind of get
playoffs.
That. He's got to wait until the playoffs, assuming they make it there, which I do think that this is a really young team. They're going to be great for a long period of time. But that's his issue right now. He's got to wait. So I wouldn't want to be him because that would be a lot on my mind. Think about it, bro.
I mean,
that might affect the season.
It's just like what you said earlier. I don't think it's going to phase him, though.
Yeah. But still, you can say that. And I think in the back of your mind.
I feel like I don't think it's going to affect him or be in the back of his mind. I think it's just like once he gets that playoff win, he'll be like, I told you so, kind of like a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I still think the idea of him running first, he needs to pass the ball. He's a quarterback, he needs to know how to pass the ball first.
Yeah.
And I understand the position is changing and all that stuff, but the position is the position. You're a quarterback, you throw the ball. You know what I mean?
I mean, here's the thing with it, is you can't lose that ability, though.
He won't lose it.
Like, not lose the ability, but you can't take that. This is like the catch-22. You can't take that element out of his game even a little bit to me. Because I'm like, that's what makes you special, man. What makes you special is not your passing ability. Now, granted, he can become really good. He's already becoming really good at passing. Like, earlier on this season, he was having passing record. Remember when Cam Newton got drafted? What did he do to prove everyone wrong? I'm throwing 400, 300 yards in my first couple games. Remember that? Cam Newton was setting records too. So, I just think it comes down to, can you be a great passing quarterback the times that you need to be a great passing quarterback?
That's a big thing.
Yeah, right, I don't think it comes down to...
That's what makes the difference between a good player and a great player.
I don't think it comes down to, we got to strip some of your running ability and just make you a completely, pocket passer.
I'm not saying a complete pocket passer, but I want him to understand that throwing the ball is more important than him running the ball.
I think he knows
that. And you only run when you need to run.
Well, I mean, earlier on in the season, he came out and said, I hate running. And he was trying to prove everyone that he didn't run. He wasn't running that much earlier on in the season.
I obviously can tell that he hates running.
Yeah, I mean, what's he going to do? It's his ability, man. It's his ability. I mean, people are going to hold it against him for the rest of his career, no matter if he wins or not. He has to win a Super Bowl to eradicate everyone. So I just feel bad from that perspective, because from now on, he's not going to get the credit he's going to deserve until he starts winning in the playoffs. That's the unfortunate thing. Or wins a Super Bowl. Because I don't even know if he wins a playoff game next year, people are going to give him that credit anyway. I think it's just going to come down to that.
You just got to tell Ravens fans, who would you rather have, Flacco or Lamar? Flacco did it, though.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Who do you